I always get gold eliminations, even if I play Lucio. Obviously, that makes me an incredibly skilled player, and everyone should be glad to have me in their group and listen to every order I give. Does that really make you a good player though? Hey, what's up guys, Cliff here once again, and today I'd like to discuss which stats most accurately represent how good you are. We're also going to, once again, discuss how the medal system can be very easily misinterpreted, so let's get right into it. We'll kick things off with the most accessible stats that you can find right in the game, so you can tell everyone how big your EP is without even going to websites like Overbuff or Master Overwatch, and those will be the medals. Look, I made an entire video dedicated to why I think the gold medal should leave the game in favor of an accurate scoreboard, so if you want to see that video, there should be an annotation of sorts on the screen right now. It will probably also be in the end card, so just wait until the video is over, I guess. At any rate, gold medals more often than not do nothing but give false information. Of course, in a 6 stack, where you know everybody plays well, the gold medal should be evenly distributed depending on the roles, but even there you might have slight deviations because of certain encounters and changes of the game plan. However, since most of us either play in a small team or in solo queue, gold medals don't really do anything for us other than giving Hanzo mains a means to defend themselves, because apparently shooting a Reinhardt shield repeatedly and by that getting gold medals validates their pick or something. And even in a team that is doing okay, not every DPS needs to have a gold medal, because maybe they devote themselves to shutting a particular hero in the enemy comp down, which causes them to do less harm on the rest of them, but who cares? If the strategy works and you're winning, it doesn't freaking matter who get gold medals. Gold medals don't seem to matter until it starts going downhill. If somebody mains a DPS hero but they don't get gold medals every single game, doesn't mean they're not doing well. There are a lot of situations where the DPS can't get any kills because the rest of their team isn't giving them any cover. A McCree will only do so many kills if his Reinhardt keeps diving into the enemies rather than holding his shield up. Especially DPS heroes without any self-sustain might have games where the lack of literal support, meaning heals, could cause them to die before getting the kills they need to get those gold medals. To not drag this segment any longer than it has to be, there's something called non-impact picks, which refers to the act of getting kills when it doesn't matter. For example, when a teamfight is already lost. Those non-impact picks can still cause a DPS player to get gold medals without being much of a help in terms of actually winning the game. As we discussed, gold damage can be easily achieved by shooting barriers and shields, so that one is pretty pointless as well. Most of the time. Sometimes burning down a Reinhardt shield is necessary before engaging, which then would validate this as a legitimate stat. Objective time and objective kills to me personally are simply XP boosts. You'll have games where the enemies won't even push for the objective or fight just outside of it, which especially in King of the Hill maps is pretty common. For both of these stats, I would say they don't matter. They are no indication for anything, since they can be way too easily misinterpreted, and their worth has to be judged on a case-by-case basis. I think we can stop at this point. It seems like it's pretty obvious that we won't be getting a lot of information from this particular system as to how good we actually are. Always getting gold medals and silver rank doesn't mean that you actually belong to masters and so on. So what about our career profiles? Isn't that a good indication for how good we are? In some way, yes. The problem is obviously that reading those stats alone without any way of comparing them to others doesn't help us. We need to know what the average is, and maybe we're also curious what kind of stats the pro players get, and that's where previously mentioned websites can come in handy. I'm going to say right off the bat that those stats are only really relevant if you have played a lot. We have to account for the beginning phase where we were just learning our heroes and have been doing terribly in terms of stats, so it takes some time to get to the point where we can say we are comfortable on a hero, and for the stats to then reflect that. For the sake of all of us being on the same page, we're going to be using Overbuff, and we'll take a look at my own statistics so you can all judge me for how very average I am. Anyway, let's get right into this. In my particular case, we'll be using Anna as an example, since I consider her my main and she's my most played character this season. Let's start with the win-loss ratio. One would think that this is a good indication for how good you are in a hero, but it really isn't, and let me tell you why. If you're like me and you're a support main, chances are that you'll be able to play your strongest hero pretty much all the time. That means that your hero will be part of pretty much every single match. Naturally, as we discussed over and over again, carrying is not exactly something that's common practice, or even possible in most cases in Overwatch, especially if you play support who's dependent on his DPS teammates to actually get frags and his tanks to bloody protect him. We're all kind of counting on each other. So looking at my stats, we can see that I have a 47% win rate with 40 victories and 42 losses. This would, to somebody who takes us at face value, indicate that I am a below average Ana player. Well, let's spoiler alert this really quick and take a look at my hero rank. According to Overbuff, I am within the top 6% of Ana players worldwide. Does that mean I'm an amazing player? Not really. It does indicate that I am better than the other 94%, but that also includes a lot of players who simply use her as an off pick. Being this high up only indicates a certain level of expertise, but not necessarily pro gameplay. Well, what about we take a look at the stats that build my overall hero rank? I think Ana's a great example because of how versatile she is, so she kinda does a lot of things. With 17.09 eliminations average, I am within the top 5% 5% of Ana plays for eliminations. However, for healing done with 8096, I only get to the top 29%. Now, somebody who's not played Ana a lot would see this and say that this means I am not good at the hero, doing more kills than healing. However, it is more of an indication for my particular playstyle. I put a decent amount of trust into the second support in our team, use my biotic grenade offensively, and dare to split more of my attention on heroes that are low on health or those that are hard to kill for other heroes on my team, such as Pharah. At any rate, you wouldn't be wrong to say that this is something I could improve on, and I definitely should. I'd like to aim for one of the top 100 spots for Ana in Season 3, so I started comparing myself a bit to those. This guy, for example, who is currently on rank 100, goes for a whopping 10,695 healing on average and only sacrifices about 1.5 kills. To me, this shows that this is definitely an area I should improve on and that I trust my off supports more than I trust my DPSers. But let's continue, since there's more to Ana than kills and healing. A very interesting stat is enemy sled, which with 9.20 throws me to the top 8%. This is a stat that I can say I personally feel very confident about. Even in my Ana guide, I have highlighted that players should use their sleep darts more to disrupt the middle of a team fight rather than waiting for the perfect opportunity, and this has paid off very often for me in matches, now also being displayed in my stats, especially if we compare again to the other guy going for 7.94 enemy slap per match. Something that I, again, could probably improve on would be my boost assists. Now, I could say that with 6.65 and top 33%, this is only so low because my teammates never managed to use my nano boost properly, but that is probably not the entire story. It might as well be an indication for me using my nano boost either at the wrong time, on the wrong target, or both of these. I know that I have a habit of using it in a team fight rather than using it to engage. Maybe I have thrown my teammates off just a couple times too often and should better communicate it. And I feel like I can pretty much end off the video here. In my opinion, Overbuff is a great website for you to find out how you stack up against others. My goal for Season 3 is breaking to that top 100 range with my Ana gameplay, so I compare myself to players on the lower half of that spectrum. Don't bother to go for the number 1 right off the bat, we don't want to discourage ourselves immediately. Also note that there are varying playstyles that still are valid. Some of these guys up there might play in a full team, and their comp allows their particular hero to be more aggressive or requires them to be more defensive, so do keep that in mind. If you know your main and you know how to play them well, then you will be able to find some valuable information from this database. Note that obviously different heroes have an emphasis on a different combination of statistics, so again it is a matter of understanding your hero and what you're supposed to do with him. I hope this video helped you guys out, was informative or entertaining in some way. If it was, do feel free to drop me a like on your way out, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you guys next time. Far. You sleep, then touch. Guys, well played.
Nice.
Oh my god. I was on the fucking edge of my seat. Oh god. That was such a good game. Incredible.